The Chicago Bears will be without Darnell Mooney. Will this be the last time that we see him in a Bears uniform? And did Justin Fields call out the offense? Let's talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel. Talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So Darnell Mooney apparently brought himself in today and basically, said he felt like he was dealing with some concussion-like symptoms, got checked out by the doctors today, and they've put him in the concussion protocol. Ugh, tongue twister. They put him in the concussion protocol. And what this means is there's a pretty good chance that we may not see Darnell Mooney on Sunday, because usually if you miss that Wednesday practice with concussion-like symptoms, you're not going to be at the game. By the way, Tevin Jenkins also ruled out already for this game as well. EQ St. Brown will be back though, so maybe see him get a little more passes thrown his way. He's back at practice. Don't know if he's going to be cleared for the game, but he was back at practice. But this is interesting because of the timing of this, right? With 2 weeks left in the season, you've got the Atlanta game, and then you've got the Green Bay game to finish out the season. Will this be the last time that we see Darnell Mooney in a Chicago Bears uniform? And this is very interesting to me because Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields initially were just like this, but that fall off has been very, very precipitous over the last season, because it just feels like, right, he has kind of fallen out of the rotation. Me and John Yurkovich were on the Chicago Bears podcast today, and he broke it down with Justin Fields offensively and said a lot of times you see from Justin is he goes wide receiver 1, tight end, running back, wide receiver 2. How often are you really getting to that fourth option? And we've been talking about this all year, that the rapport with Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields just hasn't been the same, right? It hasn't been 100% right this year. And so you look at a lot of those situations and you ask yourself, is this an environment that Darnell Mooney wants to come back to? I think he likes Justin Fields. I don't think there's any beef there at all, right? But there is still something about, hey, I can go somewhere and be a productive member of an offense. Remember, Darnell Mooney 2 years ago, when he was Justin Fields' only option, 1,000-yard season, had 4 touchdowns on the year, but had 81 receptions that season. Over the last couple of seasons, we've seen that just continue to drop off. Now 2022, Darnell Mooney dealt with injury, so that changes things for him a little bit there. But 2023, right, he's been for the most part pretty healthy this season. He's got 31 receptions, 414 yards, and only 1 touchdown on the season. This has been a pretty drastic drop off for Mooney, and we've seen kind of touchdown wise, we've seen a drop off for Mooney ever since the 2020 season, right? He just hasn't been utilized nearly as much. Could the Bears look to go a different direction with that wide receiver 2? Could that possibly be Marvin Harrison Jr.? Don't know if that's going to be the case coming out of this first round, but I do look at the offensive side of things with Darnell Mooney, and I say, I think that this is an offense that Moonman probably doesn't want to come back to, no matter who the coach is next year, because of some of the limitations that your quarterback may have. Now, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you feel like Mooney will be back with the Chicago Bears heading into next season, or do you think that we will see him somewhere else? When I look at Darnell Mooney's, his impact on the game, right, I often wonder, not to say that he can't impact the game, but if he is a big enough weapon for Justin Fields to focus on him enough in the game. And I think that that just comes down to, some of the other guys that have moved ahead up. DJ Moore comes in as instantly wide receiver number 1. Cole Kmet getting paid. He's your big money guy. You're going to throw it to your tight end in a lot of those safe situations. And then your running back is your check down guy. But we've even seen in some of these games where Darnell Mooney is the focal point, Justin Fields be a little bit off, Darnell Mooney be just a little bit off, and these guys not be able to connect back up. I don't think it's of any fault of anyone else's, right? Well, I can't say that. Let me back off on that a little bit. I do believe that there are some limitations with Justin Fields that cause Darnell Mooney to kind of get lost in the sauce. I think that he is a very, when I'm focusing on throwing to a certain wide receiver, I'm focusing on throwing to him. Then I've got my safety option. Then I've got my check down option. Darnell Mooney, or whoever the wide receiver 2 is to me, just doesn't really fit into that equation. And that is a limitation by the quarterback position right now, right? You kind of are very focused in and locked in on your 3 guys, and you've got basically route 1, route 2, and then route me when you're talking about Justin Fields, because after he gets to that second guy, you know that he's probably looking to either get it down to the running back, make something off schedule, or run out of the play himself and use the explosiveness that he has with his legs. And so knowing that about your quarterback, you got to find a way to kind of utilize that. I think there's still some value in a guy that's able to do that, because Justin Fields is very explosive. But as he continues to play in this league, that is something that you want to see him kind of develop in, grow in, be able to get a little bit further in the more time he has in the NFL. Because I look at a situation like if Marvin Harrison Jr. were to come to Chicago, right? Is he become the number 1? Does that mean DJ Moore is now lost in the sauce? Or are you going 1-2 with your wide receivers? Now Cole Kmet is lost in the sauce, right? Like there's kind of that vibe where, to me, going into next year, the biggest question I have around Justin Fields is he going to be able to get everybody else involved when there is an everybody else, if he's a member of the Chicago Bears, right? Like when there isn't everybody else, because you don't go out and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and you're not using him, but also you don't not throw the football to DJ Moore, but also Cole Kmet just got paid $50 million. He's your safety blanket. You need to get him the ball. Maybe that just becomes your 1-2-3. Maybe the running back is kind of out of the passing game in that situation, which wouldn't be something I'm surprised by. But again, I feel like with Justin Fields right now, it's not going to work with him and Darnell Mooney at any point. Of course, the season's over, right? But I don't feel like it works for either side in the future, because, again, Darnell Mooney's just kind of the odd man out in this situation. And whoever the wide receiver 2 is right now is the odd man out. I think when it was EQ St. Brown, whoever is in there, you kind of just see, okay, this is probably not going to happen. So what does that lead Darnell Mooney to do? He's probably going to go try and sign somewhere else. If I'm Darnell Mooney right now, I'm on the phone with my agent. Yurko said this as well. I think this is the perfect place for him. They have nobody that can catch the football. I do know Darnell Mooney can catch the football. I'm calling the Chiefs immediately. I am sitting there and I'm saying, listen, you get me with Pat Mahomes and I'll be able to make some magic happen if Matt Nagy's not there. Don't do it, Moon Man. Don't you go back with Matt Nagy. Don't you put yourself in that position. You've been in that position. You're starting in that position. Don't you do that. But if Matt Nagy is not there calling the plays, then you go back, you go work with Pat Mahomes, because I believe that that's a situation where it's not, to me, it's not that there's a lack of talent for Mooney. I just think that there is a lack of a connection with him and Justin, because Justin's so focused on the connection with DJ Moore working, and of course so focused on the connection with Cole Kmet, and then whoever's in at the running back position. Listen, you catch all the dump down balls, whether that's Roshan Johnson, Deontay Foreman, Khalil Herbert. You're the guy that's going to get the boop. Yeah, the screen passes basically all go to running backs every time. There's always some weird play that Luke Getsy's throwing in there to try and make magic out of something that doesn't need magic made out of it. I don't know. He's a weird dude. But to me, right, I just think that we're going to see a separation here, but it's not going to be because one side didn't do their job, the other side didn't do their job. I think the focus has become more on DJ Moore. The focus, of course, is going to be on Cole Kmet. He just got a big extension. He's going to be a major safety piece for Justin Fields or whoever the next quarterback is in there. If they do decide to go a different direction, it's going to be very interesting to see kind of what this offense looks like next year without a guy who was in it Darnell Mooney's been here 4 years, and I don't see him re-signing here in Chicago. And to me, losing a piece like that, it's going to suck a little bit, but you do need some tall receivers in this offense that can catch the football and make some things happen speed-wise. I would love to see Marvin Harrison Jr. be that number 2 guy. Maybe that kind of takes the wide receivers out of that situation, or I'm sorry, it takes the running backs out of that situation. So instead of going 1-2 me and then the running back gets whatever he gets, right? There's 1-2-3 then me with Justin Fields. So let me know how you guys feel, man. Do you feel like Mooney will be here next year? I'll be down in the comments talking with you guys as well. Something else that was very interesting today, and I don't know, maybe this was me, taking too much out of it, me looking too in depth into it. Sometimes I do that. I'm not going to act like I don't, right? We all do it, right? Somebody says something and you go, oh my goodness, that he basically just called everybody out. But what I heard today from Justin Fields, I thought was very, very interesting at the podium when he was talking about the offense. I don't remember who asked this question, but basically, I think it might have been not Fishbane. I can't think of who I'm trying to say right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Long-winded questions. It's about to be littered in the comments. Always long-winded questions. He sits right in the front. No disrespect to him, but he asks very long questions to everybody. It'd be like 17-part questions. But he asked Justin kind of, when you look at the offense, what do you feel like there's been the issue? Because you guys put up 21 points in the first half, and then it really just falls off in the second half. And Justin said, as an offense, we have to go back. We have to look at kind of the things that we're doing. I can make better passes, but as an offense as a whole, I feel like complacency sometimes sets in. And our goal is to get to 28 every time. And it's very interesting that he says complacency, because it's almost like every time we've seen one of these major collapses or one of these almost major collapses, because to me, one of the biggest issues that Chicago Bears offense has is that even in the wins this season, it still almost collapses in some of these losses because we just see a complete disregard for the first half game plan going into the second half, right? We just go to, time to play it safe. Now let's see if we can get 8 more points or 7 more points out of this. But I think that that's really something interesting when you look at kind of like, take Sunday, for example, with Arizona. When you look at the job that Arizona did in the second half versus the first half, and you look at the tape, you don't feel like Arizona changed anything major. It didn't look like Arizona all of a sudden was defensively stout. It just looked like the Bears kind of were like, we got 21 points. We only need to get 8 or 7 in this second half to get to the 28 goal. Let's get out of here without turnovers and we're good. Justin Fields talked about how he needs to throw a better ball to Khalil Herbert. That should be a walk-in touchdown. 100% agree with him on that. That was a completely underthrown ball. Still got question marks on that route. I still got question marks on that route because he said it was three verts, but it never, me and J-Mac was looking at that. It didn't look like 3 verts to us, but hey, I ain't playing the NFL. J-Mac did, but he said it didn't look like that. Hey, I don't know. But I think what's interesting there is the fact that he brought up the word complacency. This is the second week in a row that this offense is talking about being complacent, right? Darnell Mooney and DJ Moore talked about it the week before versus the Cleveland Browns, that there was a lull in the second half offensively, right? That the team kind of just got complacent. They were up 17. We keep talking about, and again, this goes to mindset, right? And this goes to the mindset that the team is putting out on the field. This team, to me, does just enough. And they're satisfied with just enough. They're not looking to be great. They're not looking to be excellent. They're looking to do just enough. And just enough versus good teams is oftentimes not enough. And we've seen that 3 times this season bite the Bears in the butt. Denver, Detroit, and of course that Cleveland game where the history is set, right? You're talking about 3 times in an NFL season where you had a 2+ score, 2+ turnover lead going into the fourth quarter, and you find a way to lose that game. That I think that what Justin Fields said today about how this offense has often again been complacent is exactly what everybody's been calling out Luke Getsy for the entire time. And yet again, we hear that word come up in this offense. Why are we not staying aggressive? Why are we not continuing to look into attack? Why are we not continuing to do what's working for us, right? Second half of that game, you want to run the football? Fine, run the football. Just don't stop running the football. You pound the rock down their throats. You got all the way to a first down situation off of Justin Fields' 39-yard run. It's 1st and 10. What do? You're going to throw the football. No. Run the football. Let's continue the things that you would think Chicago would have learned this by now, but let's continue to go with what works. And I feel like the Bears don't do that enough. I feel like the Bears don't force it enough. They don't attack enough. And to me, that's the biggest problem with the Chicago Bears offense. And I think that there was a little bit, I don't know if let me know, maybe I'm tweaking on this. That felt like a little bit of a shot, not a crazy shot, not a boom cannon to the face, but that felt like a little, I got the dart. Look, you know what I mean? Like that's how that came off to me. Again, talking about, now he was including himself in that. He was saying that as a leader, I need to be able to go out there and galvanize these guys when I feel that complacency setting in. Maybe that's something for him and he talked about it even last week versus Cleveland when guys talked about there's a lull in the offense. We kind of got complacent, right? I feel like Justin was like, I didn't get complacent. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, Why would guys get complacent when you're in a 17-7 game? But I think that guys look at the offense and they kind of just going through the motions. And at the end of the day, right, you end up going with the vibe that the team is putting out. You end up going with the vibe that your coaching staff is putting out. And the one thing that we've seen from this coaching staff time and time again on both sides of the football is a complacency to the details, complacency to aggressiveness, and just falling back into a very passive style of football in the second half when they have leads. So let's hope that they can kind of get this cleaned up. I mean, you're probably not going to change anything massively heading into the last 2 weeks of this season. Of course, coming up against Atlanta, right? There's a really good defense. I want to see them be aggressive. I want to see them go out and attack. I want to see them keep their foot on the pedals, but there's nothing that leads me to believe that they will, because we haven't seen them keep their foot on the pedal the entire season. So let me know how you guys feel, man, in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you believe that the Chicago Bears have been way too complacent offensively? Do you think that Justin Fields was kind of calling out play calling yet again on that play? I want to hear from you guys. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen, check the links in the description below. I know normally we do live shows daily on here, but we're tearing down the old studio because there is going to be a new studio that is going to be in place that we are going to be able to do everything out of. It is going to be 110%. This is kind of a big announcement, I guess. Like, this is a pretty big announcement I'm dropping here in a very regular fashion. So we're breaking down the studio and we're creating an entirely new studio that is going to be 100% ours. We're going to be able to live or watch party out of there. Not live call, right? Can't live call, but we're going to be able to watch party out of there. We're going to be able to sit there and have guests in there. We're going to be able to bring everybody in that we need to bring in. We're going to be 100% in control of the new studio, and nobody's going to tell Pat that he's too loud to be in the building, because y'all already know I'm coming with that energy, baby. But as always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. One love, Bear Don. Peace.